Have you ever felt that pang of jealousy when someone else succeeds? That little voice that whispers, "Why them and not me?" It's a feeling as old as time itself, and today, I want to share a story that explores this very human emotion, a story about two craftsmen, their rivalry, and a profound lesson in greatness. In a small, sun-drenched village, nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, lived two of the finest woodcarvers in the land, Kenji and Hiroshi. Kenji was a master of his craft. His hands moved with a dancer's grace, transforming lifeless blocks of wood into breathtaking sculptures of birds so real, you'd expect them to take flight. People from all over the kingdom would travel to his workshop, their eyes wide with wonder at his creations. He was celebrated, admired, and his name was synonymous with excellence. A few streets away was Hiroshi's workshop. Hiroshi was also a gifted carver, diligent and passionate. His work was beautiful, filled with heart and skill. Yet he lived in Kenji's shadow. At every festival, at every market, it was Kenji's name that was on everyone's lips. Hiroshi would watch from a distance as crowds gathered around Kenji's stall, and a bitter seed of jealousy began to sprout in his heart. It wasn't that he wished Kenji ill. It was that he yearned for the same recognition. "My work is just as good," he'd mutter to himself, his chisel moving with frustrated energy. "Why does everyone only see him?" This jealousy gnawed at him. It clouded his mind and soured his spirit. He started comparing every piece he made to Kenji's. He'd find tiny flaws in his own work and imagine Kenji's was flawless. The joy he once found in the scent of cedar and the curl of a wood shaving began to fade, replaced by a constant nagging sense of inadequacy. His days became a cycle of resentment and self-doubt. One year, the king announced a grand competition. A magnificent royal garden was being built, and the king sought a centerpiece, a wooden sculpture that would capture the spirit of the kingdom. The winner would be named the Royal Carver, a title of immense honor and prestige. For Hiroshi, this was it. This was his chance to finally step out of Kenji's shadow and prove his worth. The thought of victory was a fire in his veins, but the thought of Kenji winning was a cold dread in his stomach. Both men set to work. Kenji, with his usual calm focus, chose a grand piece of oak and began to carve a majestic eagle, its wings spread wide, symbolizing strength and vision. His workshop was a place of serene concentration, the air filled with the steady rhythm of his tools. Hiroshi, however, was in turmoil. He decided to carve a fierce dragon, a symbol of power and ambition. But his mind wasn't on the wood. It was consumed by thoughts of Kenji. What is he making? Is it better than mine? What if I lose? He'd work late into the night, fueled by coffee and anxiety. He'd even sneak past Kenji's workshop trying to catch a glimpse of his rival's progress, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and envy. This obsession began to take a toll. His hands, usually so steady, would tremble. His vision blurred. He was so focused on beating Kenji that he was losing touch with the art he loved. The night before the final submission, disaster struck. As Hiroshi was applying the final touches, his exhausted hand slipped. The chisel sliced deep into the dragon's face, leaving a terrible, irreparable gash. Hiroshi stared in horror. It was over. All his work, all his hope, ruined in a single, careless moment. He sank to the floor, his face buried in his hands, the dragon's ruined form a perfect mirror of his own shattered spirit. He didn't just lose the competition, he felt he had lost himself. The next morning, Hiroshi couldn't bring himself to go to the palace. He stayed locked in his workshop, shrouded in shame and despair. He heard the town bells ring, signaling the announcement of the winner, and each chime felt like a hammer blow to his heart. It had to be Kenji. Of course it was Kenji. Later that day, there was a soft knock on his door. Hiroshi ignored it. The knocking persisted, gentle but firm. Finally, with a heavy sigh, he dragged himself to the door and opened it. There stood Kenji, holding the prestigious royal carver's crest. Hiroshi's heart sank. He had come to gloat. "Congratulations." Hiroshi mumbled, his voice hoarse, unable to look Kenji in the eye. But Kenji simply shook his head. "I didn't win." he said softly. The words hung in the air, stunning Hiroshi into silence. The king, Kenji continued, was deeply moved by your dragon. Hiroshi looked up, utterly bewildered. But it's ruined, he stammered. How could he? Kenji smiled a kind, knowing smile. I went to the palace this morning and saw your submission wasn't there. I had a feeling something was wrong, so I came to your workshop. I saw your dragon. I saw the passion, the power, and I saw the scar. Kenji explained how he had taken the dragon to the palace himself. He presented it to the king and told him the story he had pieced together. He told the king about Hiroshi's immense talent and his passionate, relentless pursuit of perfection. He explained that the gash was not a flaw, but a mark of a true artist who had poured every ounce of his being into his work, even to the point of exhaustion. This scar, Kenji had told the king, is a testament to his dedication. It tells a story of struggle and heart, a story more powerful than any perfect carving. The king, a wise and compassionate ruler, had listened intently. He saw beyond the surface-level imperfection and understood the deeper truth. He saw the soul of an artist who cared so much that he pushed himself to the breaking point. It was this story, this visible evidence of struggle and passion, that won him over. Hiroshi stood there, speechless. The jealousy and bitterness he had harbored for so long washed away, replaced by a wave of humility and overwhelming gratitude. Kenji, the man he had seen as his rival, the source of his misery, had shown him the most incredible kindness. He had not only saved him from shame, but had championed his work and secured his victory. Why? Hiroshi finally whispered. Why would you do that for me? Kenji placed a hand on his shoulder. Because I have always admired your work, Hiroshi. Your passion pushes me to be better. Seeing you as a rival was holding me back. A true master doesn't rise by pushing others down. They rise by lifting others up. Your success doesn't diminish mine. In fact, having another great artist in this village makes us all richer. True greatness isn't about being the only one at the top. It's about helping to build a stronger community of masters. In that moment, Hiroshi finally understood. His jealousy had been a cage of his own making. He had been so focused on the prize, on the external validation, that he had lost sight of the real reward, the joy of creation, and the connection with a fellow artist. He had seen Kenji as an obstacle when, in reality, he could have been an ally, a mentor, and a friend. From that day forward, everything changed. Hiroshi accepted the title of Royal Carver with humility, and his first act was to request that Kenji be named a Royal Master as well. The two began collaborating, their workshops no longer islands of rivalry, but centers of shared creativity. They learned from each other, challenged each other, and celebrated each other's successes. Their combined genius elevated the art of carving throughout the entire kingdom, and their story became a legend. This tale is a powerful reminder for all of us. It's easy to get caught in the trap of comparison and jealousy. We look at others' successes on social media, in our careers, in our lives, and feel that their light somehow dims our own. But that's a false narrative. True greatness, true fulfillment, isn't found in being better than someone else. It's found in being the best version of yourself and using your strengths to lift up those around you. Kindness is not a weakness, it's a profound strength. When you choose to celebrate another person's victory, you're not losing. You're contributing to a culture of support and positivity that benefits everyone, including yourself. Kenji's act of kindness didn't just help Hiroshi. It transformed their entire community and forged a bond that made both of them better artists and better men. So the next time you feel that familiar sting of jealousy, take a moment to pause. Reframe your perspective. See that other person's success not as a threat, but as an inspiration. Reach out. Offer a genuine word of congratulations. Choose collaboration over competition. Choose kindness over envy. Because a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. In fact, it just makes the whole world brighter. Thank you so much for watching and for allowing me to share this story with you. I hope it resonated. If you enjoyed this video, Please consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more content that aims to inspire and uplift. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, be kind to others and be kind to yourself.